The rules were followed, there was no parties. That was Boris Johnson in December to Parliament. Now we've had the Segre report, or at least part of the report, we have seen, again, he's lied there. Is it time for him to go, and will he go? For me, I think he needs to start taking responsibility. Welcome back to the Politics Ramble. Today, as you probably realise, we'll be talking about the Segre report and what the fallout of that will be for the Prime Minister. So as we see, the report come out on Monday, and a few of the key points was that there was an extensive drinking culture at number 10, and the Prime Minister, ultimately, what I got from it, was he's unfit for high office. And, that's not a surprise, because many people said that when he won the election. The thing is with him, is he prides himself on Winston Churchill, as we know. He often quotes Churchill in the Houses of Commons. But the thing that Churchill done, even when he made mistakes, is he apologised and he owned up to them. And, ultimately, because he was so well received by his peers, he had second chances. But with Boris, there appears to be a reluctance of him to accept what's going on. It seems that he's trying to sort of move on from it, and especially sort of downplay it, which I found was bizarre. I'm sure you all saw him on Monday. He was sort of come back firing like it was PMQ, sort of not understanding the seriousness of what the report said. And because he's got away with so much in the past, I think he particularly feels that this will just sort of get moved on, and he'll retain his position as Prime Minister. But we know there's some letters that have gone into the 1922 committee. I mean, it was only this morning that Tobias Ellwood said he's put in a letter. So it'd be interesting to find out what the true number is, if they've received the 54 needed to trigger a confidence motion. I don't think, it's going to be long before that happens, and I doubt he'll survive this. But, for me, he just needs to take a bit more responsibility, own up to the mistakes he's made, come clean if there's anything more to come out. And, the country needs leadership right now more than ever, arguably. All the things that are going on, the energy crisis, the cost of living, Russia and Ukraine. And we don't really have a respectable leader in charge to see us through these issues. Now, that is extremely worrying. And the fact that Boris seems to think everything will be okay and he will just carry on, he's either playing one of these guffs that he's admitted that he does, or he is very stupid, and we know he isn't stupid at the end of the day. So he needs to be serious, he needs to be a serious bloke for once. Why don't he just step away, let someone else who's capable of leading take charge, and then we'll hopefully have an election in the next 18 months to sort this all out. But of course, that's logical. As we know by now, Boris Johnson doesn't do logical. He does everything else other than that. So my prediction of what I fear will happen is he'll keep on kicking the can down the road. I wouldn't be surprised if he's in control of this police investigation in regards to the time frame. And, that can drag out for months, if not years. And then all of a sudden he stays in office, which I don't think anyone wants, even his own backbenchers. So what needs to happen is this no confidence motion needs to happen soon. And we need to get rid of him, really. Because him staying in office at the moment isn't helping anyone. And as I mentioned earlier, the key issues that we've got going on facing this country, we haven't got a leader that is capable of taking them head on, I don't think. So, will we see Boris survive? I doubt it. He'll try, don't get me wrong, he'll try and cling on to this with every fibre of his being, because he's always wanted to be the Prime Minister, hasn't he? this is his dream job, and ultimately he's stuffed it up for himself. You know, he prides himself on Winston Churchill. Often he'll quote Churchill in the House of Commons, but, you know, Churchill at least had principles, and at least he made tough decisions, and when he knew it was time to give up, he stepped aside. So, you know, Johnson hasn't got any of that, I don't think. And, you know, you may sort of point out to the vaccine rollout, Brexit, if you think that's a good or bad thing, and highlight some of his achievements, which, you know, I by no means a Conservative voter or a fan of Boris Johnson, but he has got some things done and done a good job at certain things. He has to take credit for that. But ultimately, the way it's all going for him now and the way it's ending, you know, it's very messy, and, you know, he doesn't seem to have any morals, really, I don't think. And, you know, that's a bad trait in anyone, really, and particularly in the Prime Minister of this country. So ultimately, for the good of the country, he needs to go. But, you know, it depends who will replace him. You know, I heard on the radio last night, I think it was in Talk Radio actually, that one of the front runners is Priti Patel. I don't think that will really be a good move. You know, as I say, I'm not a Tory, but sort of, you really want someone that's going to make decisions. And as we've seen with the immigrant situation and the dealings, how she's dealt with people before, I don't think she's really going to be able to make decisions, and more importantly, the correct ones. I think someone like, maybe, I don't know, Jeremy Hunt, maybe, he may be a good holding guy, and until we get to an election, he might be able to sort things out. But it needs to be someone that's respected in the House of Commons, particularly by the Conservatives, and someone that can take control of what's going on in this country, because ultimately we're at a crossroads, really. As I mentioned, you got the Ukraine-Russia conflict, the cost of living crisis, energy bills. You know, something needs to be done, and all the time this Partygate's going on, and all the time Boris is kicking the can down the road and not making any decisions. Things are only going to get worse, and, you know, I suspect things will come out that we don't know about yet as well. So ultimately, Boris will have to go. We need government in this country that works, someone that can govern, and unfortunately for him now, we're way beyond that possibility of him doing it. In other news, you know, you've got down in Kent, you've got queues because of Brexit. That's not working. As I say, you've got the French bringing people over. You've got the cost of living crisis. You've got the energy crisis. You've got people that are going to be having all their tax rises coming up, income tax and everything like that. So, you know, we need a vision in this country, and we need to have leadership that works and ultimately is trusted. And as I say, we have not got that at the moment, and that's a bad situation to be in. You know, I mean, a bit extreme to say maybe, but, you know, he's getting even more into Trump territory, Boris, isn't he? You know, Trump obviously thought the election was rigged, and big conspiracy theory against him. And, you know, Boris is on a dangerous slope going to that situation, it looks like. So, as I say, the Sue Gray report obviously hasn't been out in full, really, because of the police investigation. But what she has released is a damning indictment of Boris and what's been going on in Downing Street. So let's hope that's all cleaned up. Let's hope we get someone who can govern the country properly. And let's hope this all resolves itself in the next couple of weeks. Somehow, I can see it dragging on for months. Thanks for listening, and I shall see you next time.